Hi everyone, it's Q&A Future Leadership Friday, and I'm Kirsten Stendevad, your host, and here to answer the questions I get about future leadership. And one obvious question is, that I get very often actually, is what is it? What is future leadership? Why? Okay, okay. Anyway, so what is future leadership? And the simple answer is it's a leadership that is in alignment with the needs of the present and the future. And why do we need it? Well, we need it because the leadership models we know and that we use are created in an era of more stability, in a different paradigm, and they will simply not suffice now that we have entered a completely new paradigm. One main difference is that the old leadership models, or the leadership models we have used until now, have been created for a time of stability. It has been created for a time of linear development. So the future was pretty foreseeable. You could use data to predict what is probably going to happen, and then you were pretty safe if you just followed those predictions. That is a thing of the very past. Today, there's so many wild cards. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed. And even when we try to be prepared, we have to be prepared for the unpreparable. I mean, just this year has been, just this past 365 days have been full of surprises, things we never would have thought would happen. We have ended the cycle of stability, and we ended the cycle of business as usual. So it's simply not viable to imagine that we can just use this leadership model that was developed in the past 80 years and of course evolved throughout those years, but simply not viable to think we can just copy paste that into a completely different paradigm. And so I see many leaders really trying to hold on to the old leadership paradigm and thinking, well, I don't need to change anything. We haven't even understood the new, the latest in our, they say they haven't even applied the latest news from the old leadership paradigm. So why they can't imagine that they can even fathom to switch to a new leadership model. But I'm saying it's a little bit the same as, when I was younger, I traveled in the third world countries, and one could think, oh my God, this is going to take so long before they get access to the mobile phones like we have. But what they did, which was smart, was that they skipped the whole era with hanging up the phone lines, across the land. They just went straight from no phones to smartphones. And actually, it's the same thing that would be smart to do here. Why try to really apply and learn the latest models of the old leadership instead of just switching to the new? I have some young people coming here, actually, not least young men who are smart, because they're like saying, why don't we learn the new leadership from the start instead of having to learn the old leadership, unlearn it, and then relearn the new? So they're like, give me the new model now. And that I think is smart, because then you don't have to spend so much time unlearning what is clearly not suitable for the future. And you could say, why do I know anything about this? Well, I've always been fascinated with future trends, mega trends, and I've always had a sense for it. I guess, sort of know, like 15 years before it's happening, I can just sense the shift in the shift that is emerging. So I've always been curious about that and explored that very much, and had so many leadership labs testing different models. And so that's why I feel quite confident now that I've seen thousands of people switch to those models. I'm quite confident in saying that they are much more prepared for an unstable present and future than the people who are still trying to perfect the old leadership model. So I can see also in businesses, there's like a fork in the road, those who embrace the new, and those who insist that we can just keep going with the old. In our field, nothing changes much. Well, I think that's just utopia, or maybe it will become dystopia, because every field is changing. So, at least as a leader, I think it makes sense to be prepared. Maybe you're not ready yet to pass those new ways of working onto your team. Maybe you just want to understand it first, and that's a very good idea as a leader, because people look to you as the tuning fork. So if you don't understand the new, how should they? And if you don't understand the new, the people on your team who understand the new, they can't get through because you cannot hear what they're saying, because you're stuck in a different paradigm. You're simply not, it's like the dogs can hear sounds that we cannot hear as humans. And it's a little bit the same thing. Those who can hear the new vibrations, the new tones, the new winds that are blowing, they can hear something that you might not be able to hear because they have a different ability, or they're more tuned in. I mean, I would say the younger people come with the latest upgrades, so obviously they can hear something that many people who are from Generation X and the boomers can't even, I mean, they don't even see it. So I think it makes sense that you as a leader at least are up to speed so that you can hear what the most progressive people on your team are talking about, and so that you can actually benefit from having these people on your team, because a lot of times they know a lot about what needs to happen. And if you just allow them to come forth with their ideas and allow them to inform you and inform the team and allow them to play and experiment and try on new things, and if you listen to what they are preoccupied with and what their concerns are and their suggestions for solutions, you will be so much further ahead than if you just think, I don't want to hear it because I can't hear it, because please don't disturb me. I'm on my track. I'm like on my linear track, one step after the other. I understand this need for control, this urge to have control. I truly have only compassion for it, because I know how it is as a leader. I lead my company as well. So I know that it's a big task to be the tuning fork and to be the one who has the strategic, helicopter view, and so, and also, maintain all the elements in the business. So I feel for you, but I just think it's not smart. I think it's really, a leader should spend a certain percentage of the day and the month on learning new things, and not only AI things, because AI has not something to do with leadership per se. It's like leadership is a human skill, and it's about a mindset, it's about an attitude, it's about a way of being in the world that then generates other beings and their ability to use technology. And so this way we can generate results. So it's not enough to just learn about AI, although that's very useful as well. I think if you are a learner, which I suggest you should be, learn both about new tech and new opportunities and how we can do things smarter and how we can replace old ways of working. I mean, by all means, but do not forget that, unless you don't agree with this, but that it's humans. If we need a life-affirming path forward, if we want to live in a human-friendly and nature-friendly world, we cannot delegate leadership to AI. We cannot say it's enough to upgrade our skills in the AI era. That's absolutely not enough. You absolutely have to evolve at the speed of technology. You have to be on top of also the human side, or the new paradigms, the new ways of thinking, the new ways of generating innovation, the new ways of organizing your work in such a way that you call forth the best in humans. And you cannot do that if you're not interested or pursue the learning of how to bring out the best in people. And most leaders, I think it's sad. It's also scary to experience how the best talent in our workforce are fleeing workplaces, not because of the work, not because they're not committed, but because they have a boss who doesn't get it, who doesn't get this particular part. I mean, it's scary to see how many people are fleeing workplaces because of bosses, who are not thriving because of their bosses, who are not allowed to bring forth their creative ideas and their visionary input because of their bosses, often because the boss doesn't want to admit that she or he didn't get that idea first and wants to keep such talent a little bit down because they're afraid of their own position. Just admit it if that rings a bell. But it's just not smart for all of us because we're all dependent on our workplaces thriving. Thriving workplaces generate better products, contribute better to the whole. So it's just not a good investment to say, I don't care about that part, I'm just going to focus on the technology, or I will do with the old leadership model. So this is my little invitation to you to, at least as a leader, get up to speed, learn the new leadership model, because you will not be able to get where you want to and need to go if you only use the old one. This was all for this Q&A, Future Leadership Friday, and I invite you to ask all your questions, and I'll get back to you next Friday with a new question to answer. So have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for your attention. I so appreciate it.